Have you ever started a project, loved every minute of it, and then had to start over from scratch in less than optimal conditions? That is the exact challenge my friend Michael Bell has been facing this year. For many longtime listeners to the Small Scale Life podcast, you'll recognize Michael Bell and his Dallas Half Acre Farms. He's been a good friend of our show since that first interview. Well, it's been a while since we've had Michael on the show. The last time he was on, he discussed the soup gardening concept in the spring of 2019. In case you're new to Small Scale Life, the soup gardening concept is growing vegetables and herbs, which are ingredients needed in a hearty vegetable soup. Michael Bell and I came up with the concept. It was a lot of fun growing those vegetables last year. I'll be doing a follow-up episode on that topic soon, and you can find the original episode on smallscalelife.com. My, how times have changed since the spring of 2019. Since that episode, Michael Bell changed jobs, sold his old house, moved to a new house, sold his old half-acre farm, and found new farming properties. These new farming properties have provided new challenges and opportunities, and there's some clear takeaways from this conversation if you're starting your own garden or urban farm. In this episode of the Small Scale Life podcast, we're going to discuss how Michael Bell is building an urban farm from scratch. Remember, it always comes back to the three basic elements to grow plants: light, nutrients, and water. If you have the right balance of these three elements, you can grow plants anywhere. When you're out of balance, you need to adjust, adapt, and overcome to get back into balance again. Get ready. It's time for another exciting gardening podcast from Small Scale Life. Welcome to the Small Scale Life podcast. All right, welcome to the Small Scale Life podcast, friends. I'm your host, Tom. I'm thrilled to be back behind the microphone and talking about gardening, which is my favorite subject, and especially because this is a special Earth Day episode of the Small Scale Life podcast. I'm thrilled to have my friend Michael Bell on this episode. Usually for Earth Day, I'm in a school presenting about gardening, but this year, not so much. I'm going to have to do it over the wire and to other people, to the world through our platform, and I'm happy to do that. But we have an exciting show today. We're going to be talking about urban farming, and we're also celebrating a couple birthdays and anniversaries in addition to Earth Day. So I'd like to formally recognize Michael Bell's birthday. That was last week on 4/14. I also like to recognize Amy Dingman from A Farmish Kind of Life on 4/20. And happy anniversary. I think it's the 5th anniversary for Dallas Half Acre Farms. That, again, was on 14th last week. Please join us in celebrating these birthdays and also the anniversary of Dallas Half Acre Farm and also Earth Day. It's a great day to celebrate Earth Day by talking about gardening. So I wish Michael, Dallas Half Acre Farms, Amy Dingman, my friend, A Farmish Kind of Life, the best this year, and just have a great year as we make another trip around the sun together. So my friend Michael Bell, as I said, has been incredibly busy since the last time he was on the show. We had an excellent conversation about all the things, all the changes to his Dallas Half Acre Farm. There's been quite a few. As you'll hear, Michael Bell has some interesting soil challenges on both of his properties. Clay is really hard to work with in the garden or farm. Clay holds water a long time. In fact, it's so good at holding water that the water just cannot drain through it quickly. You'll also hear what happens when it dries out. It's pretty stunning stuff. You're going to have to amend that soil and get some topsoil that you can grow in. Michael has had to adopt container gardening techniques on his farm, and I like to call him America's first container urban farmer. Now, I know he's probably not, but in my mind he is, and I love helping him out and talking about container gardening with him. Love it so much. I had Drew Demler and Michael Bell on the show. They're going to talk about container gardening, some lessons learned, tips, things we've screwed up on, because we've all screwed up on a lot of things. So that was a really good show. That's going to be coming up next week, so be ready for that. And we're really going to talk about container gardening. We've got a lot coming up. So before we dive into this podcast episode, I would like to remind everyone to get your copy of the free Small Scale Life Seed Starter Guide. I'm going to walk you through how I start seeds every year. I give you a materials list. I give you some options that you can consider. And with the weather getting warmer, it's going to get easier to plant seeds. And we can even bypass some of these steps and get right from the seed tray into your garden. So that is coming quick. There's still time. There's still time to start a garden. So get a copy of the Seed Starting Guide. I'm going to produce a transplanting guide and a soil mix guide. Those are two things coming up. I'm going to help walk you through this season by giving you some free guides. So also, when you get the seed starter guide, I give you the inspiration sheets. It's kind of an appendix, but it shows what other people in the small scale life and small scale garden community are doing to start seeds. So get that. You might get some inspiration. You'll say, oh, I can do this. I don't have any heating pads. I don't have a grow light. Guess what? I have a window. I have seedlings by the window right now, and they're growing. So you can do this wherever you are. Just provide water, light, and nutrients, in this case soil, and you can grow plants anywhere. You can do this. You really can do this. So get your free copy at smallscalelife.com today. After all, growing your own food and supplementing your grocery list is part of the Be Resilient movement here at Small Scale Life. So get on it, lifers. You've got to get going. It's going to be a great year. We're going to do this together. So now let's get into our discussion about building an urban farm from scratch with Michael Bell from Dallas Half Acre Farms. Got a real treat for you today. I have our good friend Michael Bell from Texas. He's a father. He's a dad. He's a same thing, right? But a husband, he's a teacher, he's a muscle-bound, massive guy, and he also runs Dallas Half Acre Farm. So, Michael, welcome to the Small Scale Life Podcast.
Hey, thanks, Tom. It's good to be back. It's been a while.
It's been a while, and schedules, this, that, the other, travel, oh, man, and the whole farm situation. It's been a busy time. So how have you been?
Been good. Been, like you said, really busy. Had a lot happen since the last time I was on the podcast. So, yeah, I've been busy.
So do you want to introduce who you are? Just tell quickly our audience who you are. It's been a while. I think we were just talking, I think it was last summer we had you on with Scott Hebert talking about urban farming and all that kind of stuff. And just maybe you want to talk about who you are, just real quick, introduce yourself and what you're all about.
Yeah. So like Tom said, I'm Michael Bell. I own and run Dallas Half Acre Farms here in Dallas, Texas. I've had it for about 5 years. April 14th, which is also my birthday, will be my fifth, will be the anniversary or whatever you want to call it to when I started my farm. The first 4 years I was in Duncanville, which is just south of Dallas. I taught in Duncanville, and then I'm an elementary PE teacher. And then this past summer, I got offered a job in Mesquite, which is east of Dallas by about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but it's a lot closer to my house. So I took that job. It paid more. It's closer to home. Exactly half the number of kids. So instead of having 750 kids, I now have 375 kids a day.
Wow.
So that's so nice. And
yeah, I can bet.
yeah, it's just a way better job with more money, and I'm closer to home. So it all worked out well.
Yeah, and at the same time, you had your farm. It was just right near downtown on a piece of undeveloped land, a subdivision that didn't go in, and then this is what you bought, and you were operating that, and then something happened.
Yeah, like I said, I got the new job, and I couldn't go to school, drive 30 minutes at 4 o'clock because traffic gets pretty bad.
Yeah.
About 4 o'clock, so I couldn't drive over there to water and harvest and then come back home, and I just couldn't run the farm being 20 to 5 minutes away every day. So about once every 6 months, I get a phone call from a different real estate investment company, and they're always wanting to buy my property because, like you said, it is. I was 6 minutes from downtown Dallas.
Yeah,
it's a half-acre lot. It was zoned non-residential, but all these real estate companies, they come in and they try to buy up as much as they can, and then once they own a certain percentage of the land that's not zoned, they can go petition the city to zone it residential. And then once you do that, you can build houses, and then it becomes worth crazy amount of money. So anyway, about a month after I took this new job during the summer, and I knew I was going to have to sell it, I just hadn't really figured out how I wanted to sell it yet. This real estate investment company called me and offered me 3 times what I paid for it 4 years ago.
Gee, and what are you going to do with that?
Yeah. And I just laughed. And they said, is that a yes? And I said, yes.
Yeah.
That's a yes. I said, just send me the paperwork. I'll e-sign, just as long as there's no fees or no hidden costs. I want X amount of money in my bank account and no bullshit.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, these people will screw you faster than anybody.
Oh, yeah, they absolutely.
$4,000 closing cost.
Oh, yeah.
Or some BS. And
Yep.
They said, no, sir, we handle all the fees and everything. You'll have X amount of dollars in your bank account after you close. I said, done.
Wow.
So I sold it. I closed 9 days later. And then I thought, well, crap, what am I going to do now? You know?
Yeah.
I love farming. I have a great customer base. I got a grocery store. You know, I'm really making some headway. And I started looking for land, and there's just not a lot of little lots for sale that I can farm on.
Right.
Small lots, they have contingencies like you have to build a $200,000 house, or you just can't buy a piece of land and farm on it.
Right.
Down here, unless it's 10 or 12, 15 acres, something like that. So I started looking, couldn't find anything. I was getting really frustrated. And I told my grocery store, and they were really cool about it. Of course, all my customers understood.
Sure.
And then my old babysitter that kept my 11-year-old son, I saw her husband at my gym one morning.
Sure.
Got talk. He asked me how the farm was doing. I told him everything was going on, and I said I'm looking for some land. And he said, "Well, hell, Mike, come out to my place, which is 7 minutes from my house, just across."
Sure.
And you can, come out and check it out. And if you want to grow some stuff back there, I don't care. That's just less I have to mow. He's like 60. Nobody wants to mow in 100-degree heat.
No, even with a riding lawnmower, that's not. And with a helmet with the two beer cans up top with the straws in, I don't think anybody wants them.
I mean, that beer gets hot if you don't chug it.
Right.
So I said, all right. So I went over there and I looked, and I showed him pictures, because I have to have my tunnels.
Yep.
I won't grow without my tunnels.
Yeah, you've learned, haven't you?
Yeah. I showed him what I wanted to do, and I said, can I do it right here? And I marked off the corners, and he goes, well, yeah, I don't care. So went home. I was happy as hell. Told the wife. She was happy because it's only 6-7 minutes away. And next day I went over there and laid out billboard signs and started killing grass and everything. And about a month later, it was 100 degrees, so it doesn't take long to kill grass with 100 degrees. I went over there and started digging, and oh my God, it is the absolute worst soil you could possibly imagine.
Oh man! So did they strip off all the good topsoil when they built the neighborhood, or are they just this is just
no?
Some
it's not
bad
even
stuff?
A neighborhood.
Oh,
it's just like he owns it like an acre and a half, and then the guy next to him owns 3 acres, and then it's not a pre-planned subdivision. This is probably a 50-year-old house.
Okay.
I mean, it's just clay. When it rains, it holds water.
Yeah.
It doesn't drain. When it doesn't rain, you get cracks far enough to stick your arm down into.
Wow. Jeez.
I mean, it's as bad as it gets, and I thought, well, okay.
Well, and you went from your old farm, which had great soil, really good stuff, and you improved the soil health while you were there, and then you come here and it's like worse than scratch. It's like concrete.
Oh yeah, it was awful.
Oh man.
I sat there and I did some thinking, and I was like, lettuce doesn't have a deep taproot.
That's true.
I could just grow lettuce for a while. So I found a little company out here that makes compost, and I hauled in 6 yards of compost and spread it out.
Wow.
Over 14 feet wide, 50 foot long, and over a couple of weeks, and started planting lettuce and my salad mix and everything, and it did well. No, I'm not going to say it did well. It did okay.
Yeah.
It was. I didn't realize how bad the compost was because I thought the heat was what was keeping it from growing.
Yeah.
I just thought it was the heat and the stress and everything. And then we got into the fall, it cooled off, and this lettuce is still kind of struggling. I mean, at my old farm, it would take 45 days after I transplanted it to harvest it.
Right.
And this is taking like 60, and it's still not the same size. It still doesn't look like yellow tipped. It just didn't look like it was healthy.
Huh.
So I dug down to the compost, and it was just sand. Like, I don't know why I didn't. I guess I was just too busy moving it to really get a good look at it, but it was a lot of sand.
That's weird. Huh.
It was just cheap. It was just bad made compost. I don't think it had any animal manure in it.
Oh man. No worms, nothing, no life in it.
Oh no, I didn't. That was one of the keys. I didn't see a worm in there.
Yeah, that's a bad sign.
So, and it would get hard.
Yeah,
like
that's
compost. Good compost stays fluffy.
Right, exactly. I mean, if you got really good compost, I mean, you can put put a stick down in that for, as far as that compost goes. It's real soft and loamy and fluffy. That's a good word for it. Exactly.
And this stuff just packed. The more I watered it, the harder it packed. And
you got some Quickcrete in there. There you go.
Yeah. So I thought, well, God, this freaking sucks.
Yeah.
So what do I do now? So I went to Lowe's, and I don't even know the name of the compost, but I did a video on my Instagram page. And I compared like about six different types of bag compost.
Yes, we talked about this because you were wondering if anybody had done like a really good comprehensive study or experiment between the different composts available at Lowe's or Home Depot or anything like that. And I wasn't aware of any, and we thought maybe Drew Demler might have some ideas. But yeah, so you just went ahead with your own experiment. Yeah,
I just bought, I bought one bag of Miracle Grow, and then I bought 6 different types and laid it out. And honestly, they all grew, every single bag grew better than my other beds that didn't have any compost. But I couldn't tell a difference between the 6 different bags.
Oh, wow.
Like they all just did pretty good. I was happy with it.
Yeah.
So then I thought, okay, well, shit, if they all grow really well together, I'll just buy the cheapest bag they got.
Right. And you never mixed any like the worm casings in there or anything like that, right?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I just went with the straight because, again, lettuce doesn't need a lot of nutrients.
Sure.
So I just went with the cheapest bag. It was $4 a bag for 2 cubic feet.
Mm-hmm.
I put 8 bags on a 50-foot bed. So, it cost me $35, $36 to do a 50-foot bed, and it's working out, really well.
Cool.
And that's what I've done ever since. And, I'm getting really good harvest off of it now. And
that's good. So you've built up a base now. It's starting to, you've got enough base of good stuff there. Okay, good. Good for you, man. Good on you.
Yeah, so.
Now, another challenge you had at your old farm versus this spot was water. You didn't have it at the old place.
Yeah, but, old habits are hard to kick, I'll be honest with you. So.
Uh-oh. What did you do? What did you do?
Well, this guy has a massive, it's got to be 30 by 70 shop.
Okay.
And it's 15 feet from my 2 tunnels that I have growing lettuce in.
Sure.
And he's got a gutter system on it. And I just, I've got all my water totes from my farm. And I just, I don't want to negotiate about water and feel bad every time I got to, fill water totes up and worry about bringing any money. So I just asked him, hey, if I bring 2 water totes over here, can I hook up to your gutter on there? Well, yeah. When it rains hard, it just puddles right here and draws mosquitoes. I'd love for you to.
Oh, wow. Helps him out a little bit. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So I hook up 2 water totes to his shed. He helped me. He actually does sprinkler systems for commercials.
He's the guy you want. That's awesome.
So he knows all about PVC and all that crap.
Yeah.
So he helped me get it all up. First big rain we had, filled up 1 tote, and then next one it filled up the other one, and I got a little half-power water pump.
Yeah.
And just hooked it up to a water hose, and I water with rainwater. There was one time I ran out of rainwater, and I called him. I was like, "Hey, Beth, I need the water. Could I, hook up the water hose?" He laughed. He goes, "I'm already filling it up for you right now, bud."
Oh. So
I said, well, I appreciate it. I'll bring you some money. He goes, "No, just keep giving me some of that lettuce. I'll be happy."
Oh, good. So it's a little beneficial for him too. He's getting some lettuce out of it, and then you're taking care of his mosquito problem. That's good. So.
Yeah. So it's worked out really, really well.
Yeah. So the totes, are they stacked on top of each other, or do you have one to each downspout?
No, they're actually connected to the same downspout.
Okay, cool.
They're just side by side. When one tote fills up,
good.
We got a 2-inch PVC pipe that goes through the other one that fills the other one up.
Very good. That's what I was wondering. And then you have kind of an overflow in case it gets both of them are full up. You get a huge storm coming, then you have some kind of a pipe that'll drain it off. Yeah, good, smart. That's good, man. I love it.
And you can really tell a difference when you use rainwater.
Yeah.
You just really can. Yeah, it's because I could tell when I had to water for those 2 weeks with just with his water from the city.
Yep.
It just didn't. They kind of got a little yellowy, a little.
Mm-hmm.
You could just tell the difference. And then when it rained, and you fed it that rainwater, they greened right back up a darker green, and they just looked healthier.
Yeah, I've really tried to use, in the wicking beds, I was using 5-gallon buckets to put stuff in there, and then I just would go with the hose. And then with the other one, though, the other two, I would take a 5-gallon bucket of rainwater from the rain barrel, just one 5-gallon bucket into the table one, and yeah, the peppers did great. They loved it and had really good growth last year. So I think my table ones definitely will have the hybrid rain gutter grow systems. I will definitely use rainwater for those. The tanks are, we'll just see. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's time. If I got a little pump, was it did you get solar or did you get a powered one?
No, I got an electric water pump from Harbor Freight.
Okay. Yeah,
little half horsepower one. Man, it puts out the damn water.
That's awesome. That's great, dude. Nice. So that was, we'll call that. What do you call that then? Do you have a special term for your buddy's place, or do you just call it his house place? And
Bethel's house.
Okay.
Gigi's house.
Okay, cool. So that's the outpost number 1. The story doesn't end. There's more. So then you're doing this over there, and then other opportunities presented themselves.
Yeah, I just I kept looking. I mean,
yeah.
This sounds morbid and awful, but I mean, they could die tomorrow and, I get kicked out.
Well, it's like running a blog off of Facebook or something and thinking that Facebook is always going to be there. YouTube is always going to be there. Something happens and you say the wrong thing and you're done, right? So, yeah same kind of deal. Exactly.
Yeah, so I kept looking. It wasn't a huge deal until I found the right piece. And then one day, my realtor that was kind of helping me, she was a vegan, and I told her I love them. I told her, I said, I know you, because I told her I could spend about $20,000. That's what my budget was.
Sure.
And I said, she makes, you make 3% off $20,000. That's not, it's not very much money for your time and effort.
Right.
I said, I'll keep you hooked up with salad mix for a year. If you'll really help me and be diligent about it.
Sweet.
And she goes, I love what you do. Of course I'll help you. So she called me one day and she said, I found you a piece. Go look at it. Send me the address. And I went and looked at it. And, it's 3 minutes south of Interstate 20, which is the major highway that I drive to work on every day.
Sure.
It's 8 minutes from my house. And you go down this road, you take a left, and you go down this little street that's got 15 houses on each side of the street, and then the street end. And there's 6 vacant lots on each side of the road. Like they just quit building houses.
Yeah.
And there's 6 vacant lots on each side. And there was 2 lots for sale on the right-hand side. And I wanted to buy both of them, but I couldn't get him down enough to make it. I just didn't want to go into a ton of debt. So I just bought one of them. And it was exactly 0.33 acres, so a third of an acre.
Huh.
And,
it's Dallas a 3rd-acre farm.
No, I'm going to go ahead and count what I have at my other place and just keep it half.
I'm just teasing you.
Yeah, close enough.
That's right.
And I bought it,
and there you go.
Next day I was out there working.
Yeah, and then burying your truck in the mud. That was good.
Oh, dear God.
It was out there for 3 weeks or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, just so everybody knows what happened. You don't think I'm an idiot. The first day I went out there to work, I've got a big 1999 Dodge Ram 3/4 ton that's got the Cummins diesel engine in it. I mean, this truck is a tank.
Yeah.
It's got the heaviest engine, probably ever made for a pickup in it. And I just drove down, it's the road stops, but you could tell where the road goes.
Sure.
I mean, people's driven down there and the grass is dead and everything. You can tell. Mm-hmm. So I drive down there and I park right smack in front of my farm and my land, and I'm unloading stuff and doing everything. And then it just comes a flood for 30 minutes. It rains so damn hard. And I'm working in the rain. I don't care. It's summertime.
Sure.
I don't even think twice about it. I get in the pickup, I get ready to leave, and I put it in reverse, and it just buries.
Oh, man. So that was on the entrance road. I thought you were out in the field.
No.
Oh, my God.
Well, let me finish the story.
Okay.
So I put it in reverse, I back out, and I get out. I was like, well, maybe that was just a soft spot, because I'm an idiot.
Right.
So I go to turn around in my land, not on the road.
Yeah.
And then I bury all 4 wheels up to the axles.
Oh, brutal.
It just sank. And then that's when I realized this soil isn't as good as I thought it was.
Yeah.
So, it sat there 9 days.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
I didn't have to worry about sealing it, though.
What's that?
I said I didn't have to worry about anybody stealing.
Yeah, nobody was going to get that out of there unless they stripped it down. So,
yeah, I mean, I went out there with a buddy of mine, and we did the whole put blocks underneath it, and just everything we could, and just couldn't get it out. So I said, screw it. So 9 days later, it finally dried up quite a bit, but down with those as deep as it was still muddy. So I had an old mechanic friend of mine come out, and he's going to help me. He looks at it for a second, and he goes, "Is there a dollar store around?" I said, "Yeah, around the corner." He goes, "Let's go." I said, "What are we going to get at the dollar store?"
Yeah.
It's going to help me get this unstuck. He goes, "Just come on." He goes in there and he buys 15 bags of kitty litter.
Oh, yes. Kitty litter. Yes.
Goes back in there and just starts pouring all of it in there.
Mm-hmm.
I said, are you kidding me, dude? He goes, "Just get in." He straps to the front of my pickup with his F-250, and he goes, when you feel me pull you gas it, and you'll go. And sure enough, I got out.
Wow, what a story. Yeah, there's a picture on your Instagram of the truck buried up to its axles. And
oh
man,
so bad.
We talked about it.
Yeah, I felt like such an idiot.
Yeah.
But I didn't think 30-minute rain would make it that muddy.
But it
did.
So did your wife have to come and the cow catcher come get you?
No, I don't call my wife for anything that has to do with the farm. I called a buddy down the street from me. I was like, "Dude, come and get me."
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Bell is now demonstrating the power of building community. He has used friends to buy his property, get him out of the ditch, start a new farm, or start his lettuce operation on a different piece of property. So there you go. You got the whole world in your hands, my friend.
I do. I have no problem saying, "Hey, remember when I did this for you? I need you to do this for me."
I got an offer you can't refuse. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'll help anybody at any time, because I know it's going to come back and help me one day in the future.
That is true, my friend. That is true. Well, so how is this property? I mean, you just talked about burying your truck, and maybe the soil isn't quite what you thought, but what's your overall impression of this new property?
The location is amazing. It's cleared. Like I don't have to clear anything.
Right. Because your first farm, you actually had to clear some of the branches. You and your dad were out there and cutting stuff out, and then you put down the tarps and all, or the billboard sign stuff. And this one, it didn't have any of the mesquite. Well, it had a little bit of mesquite trees, but it was pretty open. Yeah,
I mean, I spent 4 hours, I think, digging up 15 little mesquite trees, and I mean, literally, it's really nice. I have no sun blockage. I get a good sun up to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's great.
Sun. I've got some big evergreen trees on the. God, what side is that? The south side of my property. So, when the 4 o'clock heat gets here in the summer, I've got some nice shade, but I still get all the morning sun.
That's really good.
I can see the sun actually come up in the morning,
cool.
On the horizon.
Cool.
So it's really nice. It's in a good neighborhood. A lot of older people there. They've lived there for a long time. There's no traffic going in and out. So if somebody goes down that street, they're there to see somebody or, something like that. So I like the location a lot. Sure.
And again, we're back to water. What are you doing for water out there?
Well, nothing, because it's been raining so damn much in Dallas. But we got 3 inches in 24 hours on Monday.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy.
It's been challenging because, like I said, this soil is pretty clayey too. It's not as bad as what I'm working with, at my buddy's place, but
yep,
it can get pretty swampy. But no, with water, I built me a shed. I bought one of those Lowe's Home Depot sheds.
Very cool. Awesome.
Yeah, it was 10 by 12. It catches 120 square feet roof, so it catches quite a bit of rainwater for me.
Yeah, totally.
And then I built out of pallets. I have to send you a picture of it, Tom. You would appreciate this. Out of pallets, I built me it's just a simple roof and put sheet iron on it, and it catches me. It's got about 150 square feet of water catchment for me.
Sweet.
But I'll end up getting water. It's going to cost me about $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm nowhere close to being able to, pay for that yet with money from the farm.
Right. So you take your money and you're just saving it up, and you'll put it right back into the farm. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it'll probably be a year before I actually get water there.
Sure.
Because it's just taking me so much time and energy just to get one tunnel up and in production.
Right.
I'm having to bring in some more. I'm bringing in compost and really trying to do it the right way.
Yep.
And take things that I learned at my old farm and say, damn, I wish I would have done that.
Mm-hmm.
And taking the extra time and doing those little things for the long run for this new place that's already paying dividends.
So are you using that cheap compost, or did you step it up a little bit because this is your property? Okay.
I use that compost from Lowe's.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the $3.50 a bag stuff that I was talking about earlier.
Yep.
I'll go by there and pick up 10 bags.
Sure. Now,
and then I'll go out there and spread it. Like, I have one 50-foot bed already planted. It's got, I've got 18 celery plants, 18 broccoli plants, and 10 or 12 kale, big leaf curly kale, and some chard, all in that one 50-foot bed. And it's I call it interplanting, but it's really just, let's find a place to put this because I need some money.
Yeah, I hear you, man, and it's getting things into production and getting into the swing of things. Now, this will be a good topic too about your philosophy with this farm, because you were going with, I mean, we've got lettuce over at the other one, and you were back at your other farm. You were starting to think, after our conversation with Scott Hebert from Flavorful Farms, you were thinking, okay, let's do salad. We can get into the grocery store. We can do salad mix. We've got the vegans. They want the salad mix. And you were really thinking about going full-time into salad mix. But now it sounds like you're getting diversity back into your rotation again. So what's your philosophy? Where are you going with that?
Well, like you said, I had diversity. I wanted diversity when I very first started. And then, obviously Scott had an impression on me with salad mix, and it's just, salad mix is so easy to sell. It's easy to grow.
Yep.
However, when you get an infestation of worms, you have, you're done. You have to start all over.
Yep.
Or if you get a fungus that runs through there, you're done. You got to start all over. So, which I learned the hard way. So I've been on both extremes. I've done both extremes. And honestly, with the way I'm set up now with the other farm, I'm just going to grow salad mix at my buddy's place.
Yep.
Because that's set up, and I have all the water I ever need just in case. I mean, I can always fill up the water totes from his house if I have to. And lettuce during the summer just takes a ton of water.
Sure, yeah.
And then, but at my new farm, I'm going to go with a little bit more diversity and do. I'm going to plant a lot of different things, and just see what works and what doesn't work and what I can sell, and go with the CSA baskets.
Yep.
Because my new community that I'm moving in, the new house that I just moved into, the town's growing like 15% a year.
Wow, that's crazy growth. Yeah,
it's blown. Well, I'm actually, because I get really bad internet service at my house, I'm setting on a road across the highway from where I live in a 700 home housing division that's being built right now.
Wow.
And then in my housing division, which is directly across the street, is 400, and they're just opening up phase 4 and building another 120.
Jeez, that's some serious growth. Where is everybody coming from? California or what?
Yeah, honestly, yes. And then they're trying. I am 15 minutes east of Dallas.
Okay.
So, and it's an easy drive in. You got I-20, which is a major interstate, and then there's another little highway you can get into. And I mean, I don't mind telling you, you can get a brand new house built the way you want it for $100 a square foot.
Wow,
so,
dude.
I mean, you want a 3,000 square foot house, you can get it for $300,000.
Wow.
So it's cheap. Property taxes suck. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Like, they're outrageous, but you can get a really nice big house on, a 0.15 acres, pretty small lot, but, and that's just, people are just coming out here.
Wow.
Good school system, very low crime, so people are coming out here. So anyway, all that to say, I can sell all that I have in my neighborhood alone. I don't even have to go to a grocery store. I don't have to deliver it anywhere. I could sell everything that I grow in my neighborhood.
Right. I mean, those, especially if they're coming out from California, if they're used to that kind of, stuff coming up from the valley and all that, fresh food and kale and all that. They'll be looking for somebody that can deliver that, and it's good to know where your market's coming from and who they are, so you can tailor your message to them. Plus, the vegan quotient is always my favorite story when we're talking your farm. So,
yeah, well, I mean, there's a ton of vegans. I've going to 3 vegans at my new school.
Awesome.
And they buy from me every week already. They're actually begging me, like, when is your kale going to be ready? When is your this coming out? Jesus, people, it's kale. Calm down.
So everybody, Michael has targeted vegans because, let's face it, they're eating lots of greens, right? A lot of stuff from the garden, and it's a great market for somebody who is working, has a small farm, right? It's perfect for those folks.
It's the easiest sell ever. It's literally the easiest sell ever because vegans are very passionate.
Yeah, totally.
They're very passionate about it. They love telling everyone they're vegan. They love telling everyone why it's so good for them and blah, 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 which I love. Thank God for them. I love selling to them.
Yeah.
And they love me. So it's a great fit.
It's totally symbiotic. So it's awesome. That's great, dude. So when are you expecting your first harvest out of the new property?
It depends. The chard will be ready probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Celery takes forever. The broccoli I just transplanted. Cauliflower I just transplanted. So, it'll be a while. My main thing now is I've got something in the ground over there.
Yep.
I'm gonna work really hard this week in the mornings before school to get another 50-foot bed done so I can plant some more. Deciding to plant some more. I would like to get some beets in the ground, some radishes in the ground at the new place, and just keep growing. I'm gonna do one 50-foot bed at a time until I get the whole damn thing filled up.
Yeah, exactly. So beets and radishes. Wow, you are really diversifying. So tomatoes, you're going to have your black cherry tomatoes, sweet 1000s, and some other varieties. Are you planning to get some tomatoes in the ground eventually?
Yeah. I'm still debating on how to plant them. You can plant them deep.
Yes.
But I'm scared to plant them deep just because of the soil. Because if it's too dry, it's going to be bad. If it's too wet, it's going to be worse than it is too dry because you can't take moisture out of the ground.
Right.
So I'm honestly thinking about laying them down, growing them pretty tall and lanky, and then laying them down sideways.
Yeah.
And growing them that way instead of deep. I don't know. I'm going to have to do some more research and talk to a few people. But yeah, I'm growing tomatoes. I actually have 18 that I picked up from the nursery this weekend.
Nice.
Yesterday.
What varieties you got?
Super sweet 100s. And then I bought 12 of those, and then I got a 6-pack of oh my God, they're kind of black on top, crimson.
Oh, okay.
And I just bought those just because
they were cheap and available.
Yeah, well, when I do my little baskets of tomatoes, I want there to be different colors.
Yeah, no, that's important. People like that,
So, and then I'll do yellow pears too.
Oh, I forgot you like those. Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't get 8 foot tall. I like the smaller, bushier tomatoes because I don't do well with trellising for some reason.
Gotcha.
I like the small, bushier stuff, and the yellow pears have always done well for me. People like them, and I can just kind of count on them.
Right. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I won't make it. So
yeah. I got halfway through that sentence and wanted to put it back in my mouth.
So Zephyr, you going to have zucchini again or squash?
Yep.
Okay. The Zephyr.
I'm going to do the Zephyr zucchini.
Yes, I need to get some of those.
Well, remind me, and I'll send you seeds. I bought 500 just because it was so cheap, and I'm obviously not going to plant 500 Zephyr zucchinis.
I love you.
So I know.
I would love that because I want to try it in these wicking beds. We are eating so much zucchini, it's ridiculous. So let's grow some of that stuff. And
yeah, I'll send you some, Mommy, and I'll send you some. And then cool. I'm doing mini cucumbers for the first time this year.
That's interesting. Okay.
They just don't get as big, and anything that stays less time on the plant in Texas is good.
Yeah, totally. Especially when it's getting 100 degrees out and everything.
Yeah, it's just less time that they can dry up. It's less time they can get a fungus, less time insects can get on them. And supposedly these plants don't get quite as big. I'll send you the link to them on Johnny's, and you can take a look at them.
Yeah. So
might be something you might want to check out for your beds because, like I said, the plants don't get as big.
Right. These aren't pickling cucumbers, and they're something a little different even.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're a regular cucumber, but they're called mini cucumbers because the plant doesn't get as big.
Yeah, and I actually grew some cucumbers in the wicking beds last year. They actually did really well, considering I planted them late. So I was pretty excited about that, and I'll look into that. Sure, absolutely. I mean, I don't have a ton of space, so why not look at mini stuff?
Yeah, that's the same thing. I mean, I have a third of an acre, but I still got to, hopefully one day I'm growing a whole lot and everything's full, and I just want to already be set with, okay, Zephyr's zucchini takes up this much space. It's the smallest zucchini, that I can find. So anything that I can find that grows small, I'll do it.
Right. Exactly. No, that's great. And the Zephyr zucchini, they are smaller, bushy
Yep.
guy. Yeah, yeah. Because sometimes
my
those
ego
things...
is not caught up in how big my plants are.
Well, sometimes, yeah. Well, I can grow a tomato 15 feet tall. What's your problem there, guy?
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
So I like the smaller plants.
Yeah, no, that's good. And you're right. Getting them off, I mean, it's a different perspective of a gardener where I don't have the pressure of, okay, let's turn this because, there's people that want the product. It's just my family that wants it. And I don't have that pressure of, or that thing sitting in the back of your brain, hey, I can get this turning and something else going, before it gets 150 degrees out in my space, so
Right.
I get it. Totally do. One more question. Now, back at your the lettuce homestead, we'll say, the lettuce outpost, you were experimenting with compost, but you were also experimenting with cover crop too, weren't you? Was that
I didn't really experiment with it. I just planted one because the soil sucked so bad. I said it couldn't hurt anything.
Okay.
And it took me, a little bit of time and money to be able to buy that much compost and, just get everything going. So I left one 50-foot bed in my first tunnel. I did in a cover crop, and it was from, oh God, who was it from? Greenleaf, I think. I don't remember. But anyway, I called them, told them what I wanted. They sent me like a 3-pound bag, which I thought was awesome. They didn't have a minimum.
Sure.
They sent me a 3-pound bag. I threw it out, and it grew. I took one bag of compost and just I threw the seed and then just kind of spread out one bag over 50 foot just so it would have constant contact. I mean, the seed would have contact to dirt.
Right.
And it grew. And honestly, it was pretty cool because I'd walk through there and I'd be like, oh shit, that's a radish.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be broccoli. Oh, that's cabbage. Oh, this is some type of 6-foot grass.
Sure.
So I mean, I enjoyed it. It's definitely something I'll be doing in the spring with my new place. And I can tell a difference.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Can you tell a difference? Did it work?
Well, that soil's just so bad, Tom, that I just anything would have worked.
Yeah.
And honestly, it probably needs like 5 straight seasons of cover crop before a normal human being could plant anything on there.
Gotcha.
Without adding a ton of compost.
Right.
But yeah, it definitely works.
Gotcha.
100% it worked.
Right.
You can tell a difference.
That's something that I've been thinking about. And I know that Mr. Tactical Jay, who was going to be on the show tonight, but he was driving back from places unknown to other places unknown. But he was, we did an interview last week where it was 2 hours long, but we were talking about cover crop, and that was one of the questions he was going to ask was about cover crop and the organic compost thing. So there you go, Jay. We covered those 2 topics for you, buddy.
Yeah, the cover crop stuff is really interesting to me. It's something I'm definitely going to play with in the spring when it warms up here. I've already got some seed picked out. The seed mix I'm going to buy because I have to find something to get more organic matter into my soil to help break up that clay and soak up that moisture.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of root-dominated species of plants.
And this is something that Gabe Brown talks about in his soil presentation. And Jay and I were talking about Gabe, and it took me for like 15 minutes to remember Gabe's name, and it was embarrassing as hell. But Gabe, we love you. But that's the thing that Gabe did up in North Dakota, was introducing that cover crop interlaced with his corn crop, and it just totally changed the whole system. And you're effectively doing the same thing down in Texas.
I'm trying.
Yeah, trying. Right.
Yeah. I mean, Gabe Brown, I rank Gabe Brown up there with Joel Salatin and Curtis Stone.
Yep.
Like those 3 guys right there are changing agriculture, 1,000%.
Right. Agreed. And Archuleta is in that group as well, right? Mr. Archuleta.
See, I always put Gabe and Ray together.
Okay.
Actually, I think I told you this one time. I emailed Gabe because I had a question about something. I didn't know if I had to get a response. He emailed me back. He said, call me at 12:15 tomorrow. I'll be on the road. I said, sweet. I can talk to Gabe Brown. Hell yeah. So I call him and tell him what I need and everything. And he goes, well, actually, you're in luck because Ray Archuleta is sitting right next to me. They were on the way to do a conference, to speak at a conference together.
Yes.
So I got to talk to him and Ray for like 15 minutes. One of the coolest experiences of my life.
Right.
That was just a simple name drop brag there for everybody listening. But I thought it was cool because I always just think of Gabe and Ray together.
Yes.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah, and I got to meet Gabe here in Minnesota. He was up here for a presentation. It was really nice shaking his hand and telling him that I appreciated the work he's doing. And he's got such an interesting presentation to see him do it in person and just look at the slides and go, wow, you did that, and this is what your soil looks like compared to your neighbor's soil. Wow, amazing. How much water you're retaining and the life and everything you've done there. It's pretty amazing stuff. And his profits have gone up demonstrably because of what he's done out there. It's just an amazing thing. So,
and one of the best things about it is he mimics nature.
Yes.
Like it's not rocket science. This isn't something he learned in a lab. He just looked at nature and said, what is nature doing? That's what I'm going to do. And it works. It's working tenfold for him.
Right. And you're going to be essentially trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, but I don't have as much. I don't have as much optimism in myself as I do Gabe.
Oh, you'll be fine.
We're gonna give it a try.
You're good, man. You'll do great.
I appreciate it.
Cool. So you've got a lot going on. You sold your farm, had a house move, changed jobs, started up lettuce at a different place, started up the farm, and hey, what else is going on? Let's talk about future projects at the land. So you've got your one tunnel up now, right? And do you have some other spots tarped off? Are you gearing up to expand it at all? Or okay.
I've got one 80-foot long one 80-foot tunnel up now. I basically divided it in half. I said 50 foot earlier. I'll have 4 40-foot beds, hopefully within the next few weeks, completely done. Then I'll start on the next 4 40-foot beds on the other end. And then I have, I've got 30 by 50 foot, 30 foot wide, 50 foot long spot that's tarped off. That once spring, play spring break, I'm going to go cover crop all of that. And then I'll let it grow all summer. And then into the fall, hopefully it'll be a lot better soil. I'll have things kind of figured out a little bit better.
Yep.
And I'll put up another tunnel in that spot. So I'll have 2 80-foot tunnels going into the next fall.
Nice. So for the cover crop, just to kind of tie that off too. So you grow this cover crop, and then at some point before it goes to seed or whatever, you're tarping that off and killing it off, right? You don't want the cover crop. Yep.
I'll probably mow it.
Okay.
I'll probably mow it and then tarp it. Just because it'll break down so much faster if I tarp it.
Right.
So it'll break down so much faster if I mow it and then tarp it.
Sure.
Okay. Some of these grasses that I'm going to grow, we got thick stalks, like tomato stalks.
Yes.
That's how thick they get.
Yeah.
It'll take a year for those to break down. So if I take the time and mow it, and mulch it up a little bit, I think it'll break down a lot faster. Plus, hopefully I'll be able to plant directly into that mulch into the fall.
Yeah, totally. And you're do you wet it down before you put the tarp on? You'll cut it, mulch it up a little bit, and then do you wet it?
It just depends on how wet it is.
Okay.
More than likely, it'll probably be wet enough just because that grass holds so much water.
Gotcha.
Like inside the plant when I mow it. Just think about when you mow the yard, how steamy it is during the summer.
Right.
I might take the tarp off of it a couple weeks after I mow it and water it down a little bit more. But
gotcha. Yeah, so I've got on small scale gardening. We had a couple questions from people there who have just regular gardens. They've tilled it up, so they're activating all those old seeds, and their plants are fighting those old seeds of the plants that grow from those old seeds. I was suggesting to tarp them off, and kill all that stuff off. And I've got Julie's cousin out west of the Twin Cities. He had some funky weeds that popped up out of the blue, and I was telling him to do the same thing, to tarp it off, and that would be the way to kill it all. Don't dump anything on there like glyphosate or something. Use tarps and try to kill it all off.
Tarp it or burn it.
Yeah.
You can get you a little. I have a handheld flame weeder that I bought off of Amazon for $40 that you put the little bitty green Coleman propane tanks on, and just burn it. Like just put the flame over the top of it and just scorch it. It might come back, scorch it again.
Yeah.
And eventually it's going to give up and die.
Right. That's like our buddy Mick over in Aussie Flame Weeder guy.
Yeah,
Mick Higginson.
I'd love to have one of those. God, I'd love to have one of those.
So what I'm talking about, folks, if you don't know, he's developed this, and they're available in the States too, but they've got like 4 or 5 burners, and they're 30 inches across, and you can hook up a tank you put on your grill, and this thing just burns it all off. It's like a flamethrower. It's cool.
It's on wheels, so you push it like you would a lawnmower.
Yep. It's very cool.
And if you do it at night, it's really cool because you can see the flames bouncing off the grid. It's really cool.
Yeah, totally cool. So awesome. Well, I'm going to let you go here pretty quick. Two more questions. So I saw in an Instagram video you're doing some stuff there in your little shed. You're putting a little bit of, fixing it up a little bit. So what were you doing there, buddy?
Oh, that's a project I've wanted to do for my entire life. I've always said I was born in the wrong era. I should have been born in 1800s with Charles Ingalls in Little House on the Prairie. Like
you and Thoreau out there, huh?
Yeah, I just love being on my farm. I want to walk out. I bought a 10 by 12 little shed from Home Depot, not from Home Depot, but like the ones you see from Home Depot. And I'm going to insulate it. I haven't figured out what I'm going to put on the walls yet.
Sure.
To over the insulation, it's not going to sheetrock it, but I don't know. I haven't figured it all out yet. But I bought a wood burning stove. I've got it. I'm going to put it in the corner.
Cool.
It's got 2 windows on it.
Nice.
I have a solar unit set up to it, so I can flip on some lights if I want to. It's got a loft in it that my kids can sleep in. When I get everything done, if we want to go. I'm going to put a front porch on it, so if I want to sit on my front porch and look at my lettuce growing, I can.
Sure.
There's a little fire pit on the side of it. We can cook hot dogs. Like, I want to make it as livable as I can for the least amount of money that I can.
Yeah, that's totally cool, dude.
Yeah, just that way me and the kids can just go, or hell, if I just want to get away from my kids.
Sure.
I can go out there me and the wife can go out there for a night.
Yeah.
We'll put a futon in it. I'll have a compostable toilet.
Nice.
Little vanity with the kitchen sink. The sink will go, that'll drain out.
Yeah.
To the farm. Just little things that I found on Instagram and Pinterest and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I'm more excited about that than I am anything, to be honest with you. I love my shed. It just takes money and time, and those are the 2 things I'm kind of short on most of my life.
Right. Pringles.
It's coming along. I've got 3/4 of the way insulated. I insulated some more of it.
Cool.
Last night.
Pringles and beer too, right?
Oh, that's my best friend, man. We used to go camping all the time, and all we would take would be 4 or 5 different cans of Pringles and a 6-pack of beer. And we'd go 2 hours without talking, and it was but it wasn't awkward silence. Like, we just sat there and drank beer and ate Pringles.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, this is back there I put mine back there in those evergreen trees.
Yep.
So you really can't see it. It's shaded during the summer.
Nice.
And I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a long project, but
that's what it's all about. It's getting away it's a staycation essentially. You're out in the woods, even though you're not. Yeah.
I'm 4 minutes from one of the busiest interstates in Texas, but
Crazy.
It feels like I'm 100 miles from everybody.
Awesome, dude. That's what you want. That's to get away, right? And build your small scale life.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for being on. So where can we find Mr. Muscle, Mr. Michael Bell?
Instagram, Dallas Half Acre Farm.
Yes.
I tried to do Facebook, and I don't know what happened. I got locked out, then I got logged back in, and then none of my stuff's there, and so I said screw it, and I just stayed on Instagram. So I get DMs every day from random people asking random questions, so I'm always happy to answer them and help people out. If you want to talk about gardening, farming, coronavirus, prepping, shed to cabin, whatever, dude. I love to talk about this stuff, and I teach elementary PE, so I throw a few balls out there, and I got 30 minutes to chat on DMs if you want to chat. So hit me up.
Very approachable, and it's just been so fun. I mean, it's been a long time since we've had you on, and that's just because of schedules and whatnot. But yeah, Michael has always been great to respond to my pithy little comments on his videos. He puts up a lot of videos, a lot of great content out there, just what he's doing, and it's really been fun. And I know a lot of people that are, I'd say, in the business, I'm using my air quotes, but other people in the small farm community know who Michael is. They're all talking. It's great to see such a community start to develop around you, which is great. So it's a lot of fun. Plus, Drew Demler is always a fun guy too. So,
dude, that guy's turned into one of my best friends down here. They don't make people better than that guy.
Yeah, big-hearted guy, lots of energy. Holy smokes! So, yeah, good dude. So, I'll have to have him back on the show too. Well, Mr. Bell, it has been exciting as usual, and I am so thankful for our friendship. I'm so thankful you had the time to be on the show, and I'm sorry to take away from your wife and children, especially on a school night.
Fine. It's the weekend. I've been with them for 2 days straight.
Yeah, I know. Jules said the same thing.
Don't you have a podcast to do, Tom, or something?
I know. The reminder went up, and I was like, oh, I can't cut this broccoli. I got to get ready for the podcast. It's good stuff. So thank you so much, Michael. We will check you out on Instagram. We're always happy to share your stuff. And, yeah, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Had fun. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. This has been a production of Small Scale Life Media.
From the land of sky blue waters.
Small Scale Life is podcasting. Small Scale Life is podcasting. Small Scale Life.
Oh,
intro right there.
Oh, God, please, no.
Oh, yeah, baby. It's going to happen.
Yes! Oh, love it. Love it. Love it. I love it. Yes!
I sound like a dumbass all the time, so...
Yes.
Yes.
Please hit subscribe and hit the little like button.